Hi everybody, this is Andrew Oppman with another edition of Academic Spotlight, the series that we're doing on the colleges that serve the students at Middle Tennessee State University. Now, not everyone who comes to MTSU knows what they're going to major in. Fortunately for them, they have University College to come to their aid. University College contains a special program to help students find that major. And the guy that helps make that happen is the Dean of the University College, Dr. Rick Sluiter, who is also our Vice Provost for Student Success. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things here, Dr. Sluiter. But let's put on your Dean's hat first, as Dean of University College. Let's say that I'm the parent or I am a student that I want to go to the university, but I can't pick. I don't know what I'm going to do. How do you help me?
Yeah, so Andrew, it's so interesting, anywhere between 20 and 50% of students who come don't know what their major is.
Wow.
And so it depends on the institution. I think that's probably an underestimate because we have many students who come and they're in a major and it's not the right major. So some other estimates are that 70% of students will change their major. So you can see that there's a lot of students who come, they're really not sure. So we get about 200 students every year who come in and they go, I'm going to admit it. I don't know what my major is. And so we're glad to have those students because it's a safe place for them to land. Now, on the other end of it, what we see sometimes, we'll work with the student and they have 200 hours, more than 200 hours, that they've accumulated because they've shifted from major to major, they've done a lot of different things, and of course it takes 120 to finish. And so our goal here is not to have a student who has more than 120 hours. So it makes sense to bring students in, to have them in this place. We've got a special advisor who does nothing but undecided students. It's her special expertise. She's been doing it for a number of years. She works with students in some very defined ways to make sure that they're taken care of in many dimensions.
Wow. And so how does that process begin? When I say, hey, I need help, what's the first step that your advisor will walk me through and lead me through?
Yeah, so it's really something to talk with the student to develop that relationship, because students will come and they'll say that they don't know, but we want to make sure that in fact is the case. And so we'll talk with them. We'll just go, okay, you don't know, there's a set plan for everybody.
Yeah.
And so these are great advisors. This is a great advisor in particular who works with undecided students. And it's in terms of working with that student to make sure that they're going to take courses that count toward their degree. Now, it's like most incoming students, we're going to work to ensure that those students are in general education courses. If they've got an inclination that they want to take a particular course to explore it for their major, we can usually fit that in. And so that's the approach typically that we're going to use with the student.
And you mentioned general education. Those are basically the courses. There's a certain core curriculum that all of us take if we're going to be an undergraduate, correct? I mean, these are courses that they're required for all of us, and that's what you would point them towards first, correct?
It is true, and we'd make sure that we take into account any courses that they've had that they bring in for dual credits or any kind of CLEP testing or anything. Many students come with course credits that they've already accumulated, and so it's working with that student individually. There's no set pattern to say every student's going to be treated in a particular way because they all come differently.
Right.
And so it's in terms of taking into account what they've done, and then really we start to work and we say, okay, what's the interest? And that's hard for a young person sometimes.
Absolutely.
To figure out what their interest areas are.
Well, what a decision we're asking you to make. Hey, I really respect those that know what who know what they're going to major in. But I think it's perfectly understandable that you would come into a situation like this, and I want to see what my options are, right?
Absolutely. And so, we work with career services in a very defined way. And so almost all of those undecided students will go to career services to take some inventory tests and to get some indication about what their interests are so that they can think about what it might be. And it's not just like, think about this, come back next week, let me know what you're going to do. And so it is working with all those folks to get the idea. And so when I think about this, it's really about interest that a student has, the aptitude that they've got. For instance, you may have a student who says, I want to be an electrical mechanical engineer, and the second thing that they'll tell you is that they don't like math. And so it's not going to work, so we want to look at what the student's interest is, what their aptitude is, what they want to do if it's a career, what degree does it take to do that career, what the demand is for that area, for that occupation, and then we look and we say, what does it pay?
Mhm.
And so all those things fit together. The worst thing we do is to have a student come in and pick a major, pick an interest area, pick an occupation, pick a degree, and they go, well, I could never live on that. We've seen that in the course of working with students, and so exploring all those things seems very important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. University College is such a unique one of our academic institutions at MTSU. Your college is one of the few colleges that is actively engaged in trying to send its students to another college. I mean, they may come in as undecided students under your purview, but you're literally trying to get them to the right fit.
It's true, and so we joke about that a lot. We have students come in, we form a relationship with them, and some of those relationships extend beyond the student's graduation date. So we'll have undecided students who come in and they'll pick a major and they'll come back to that advisor.
Isn't that something?
It is. It's about the relationship, and
Yeah.
that advisor is there to help those students, and so they always will do that. But our goal here is to get them in and get them out, to be quite honest with you, not in a roughshod way either.
But your goal is to get them to the college they need to be in to find their future.
That's exactly right.
Wow. And folks may not be aware of this because University College is one of these silent partners in so many of our most successful efforts. But if they've taken a dual enrollment college course in high school, they've been part of your college part of that as well, right? Because your college and your folks administer that array of dual enrollment programs we have at high schools all across our area of Tennessee.
As you know, our president emphasizes dual enrollment for a lot of reasons. But you're right, we have between 1,100 and 1,200 students in dual enrollment programs this semester.
It's really one of the most affordable, practical ways to get your foot in the door in college, right? Because I mean, you can get there's state grants that cover some initial coursework, and even coursework that you might purchase after those grants expire are relatively inexpensive. Right?
We have the First Four program, pays for 4 dual enrollment courses.
Isn't that incredible?
It's a first semester
that's 12
college.
hours.
Absolutely.
So back to undecided. If there's anything I need to consider or look at on the web, where do I go to find that information?
Well, you're going to want to take a look at our webpage to make sure that you can see what our program is, who the advisor is, who they're going to be the contact, who the contact point is going to be. And then also with our Career Services Office to see what their services are.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Sluiter, I know we've been talking to you in your role as Dean of the University College. Now we're going to talk to you in your role as Vice Provost for Student Success. And what a unique job and awesome opportunity that is presented for MTSU and for you personally. Let's talk about Middle Tennessee State University's commitment to student success. When we say those words, what precisely do we mean, and what has that meant to all the things that this institution has put forward?
It's been transformational for MTSU to be focused on student success. And as you know, it first started in 2013, 7 years ago, with the launch for the Quest for Student Success. And so it was then that the position that I'm in right now was created, and I came to MTSU 6 years ago to start that work. And so it's been transformational for me, it's been transformational for the entire institution. It's been just an incredible journey. So it's been, the focus of the institution to enhance retention and completion. And so this past fall, of course, we have data that we track regularly to look at what is going on with
You
our
are all
students.
about the data, Dr. Sluiter.
I am, and I believe in tracking and measuring anything that we're going to be focused on.
I'm going to get a graph after this conversation about how many constants I used.
There you go. And so we've moved, so retention is the percent of students who start in the fall and come back for that next fall. We've moved that 10 percentage points.
Wow.
In these 6 years that we've been doing this work. We're at the highest rate of retention we've been in the history of the institution this fall, in one of the toughest times of the history of the institution. I think it says everything in terms of what we're doing, what we're focused on. It's about making sure students are taken care of. And so it's in that role that, we get to work with really everybody across the institution in making sure all the component parts fit together.
And I worked for a boss once that used to say, what gets measured gets done. And that data that we're talking about and those measurements are so very important. It's not that we didn't care about retention and graduation before the Quest, but the Quest, it really put a fine line of data in front of us so that we knew how we were doing. But there was also one additional element that has really been the secret sauce to all this, and it's been the core of academic advisors that the Quest brought aboard, that have really took advising away from one of the roles that the faculty did, in addition to so many other things they did, and created a separate core. Talk about why that's been an important part of this process.
It's just crucial. I mean, we hired 47 new advisors in fall of 2014, which brought our advisor number up to 70, which meant that every advisor has about 250 students to take care of. So when we have that kind of a ratio, advisors can focus on taking care of students. Before that, we had advisor ratios of 1 to 700, 1 to 1,000, 1 to 1,200. And so in those types of situations, we really don't have the time to spend with students.
Having that breakdown in such a way that the advisors are based at the colleges. So we had the Jones College on here, we had other college advisor managers. They are focusing and taking care of the students that are going through their programs, correct?
It's true. So we start priority registration for the spring semester in 4 days.
That's right.
And so our advisors have been working on getting those students ready for the last 60 days. So they've been meeting with them, planning with them, getting them to develop course degree plans, looking at courses, looking at what they should be doing, paying attention to how they're doing. And so all those things are a regular part of what we plan for. In terms of taking care of students, it's not something where a student wakes up and goes, oh, I better get into courses for the spring. It's a part of a ever-evolving plan that they're engaged with their advisor. Those advisors also take care of a lot of other things. They're a coach, they're a mentor, they're somebody who a student can trust, they can ask questions, they can get assistance. They're a ready resource person for any student who has a question that needs assistance. So that's something that's different at MTSU. We've got that cadre of advisors. They've developed over the last 6 years into really something that's very, very important for our institution.
They're mentors and friends too. Those relationships you were just talking about, those are real and those are strong. The Quest for Student Success also brought some tools that those advisors use. There's this great intuitive software that allows the advisor to kind of track the progress of the students, to get some flags if things are not going according to the plan they've set, so they can really connect with them before things go far south, rather than waiting. In the old days, I guess we deal with the aftermath of some of these things. Now we can actually intervene, right?
It's very true. We have predictive analytics that lets us identify students who are at risk that we can reach out to before it's too late to draw them in and drive them to services. That's the whole goal. And so it's looking early how we can assist students instead of waiting till grades come. And so those advisors are armed with some of the most sophisticated software in the world. There's probably 300 institutions in the country that have this. And so they do work every day in that system to record interactions with students. We track grades, we track student progress, we track so many things. And so it's really quite a system in terms of assisting students, and it's been partly responsible for our increases.
So if I'm a student or the parent of a student listening to you talk, I guess one of the takeaways I should come with is I'm not alone in this. This is not going to be me by myself having to make these big decisions. I've got someone I can turn to help me.
It's a very different world today than even what it was 10 years ago, where a student was dropped off and either made it or didn't.
Right.
And so today the whole goal is to bring a student in and to support them so that they can be successful.
Wow.
Semester to semester, year to year, and then through completion.
Dr. Rick Sluiter, Dean of the University College Vice Provost for Student Success. We're going to talk about one of your great student success programs, the Scholars Academy, in our next segment. But Dr. Sluiter, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Andrew.
We'll be right back.
Nothing is more expensive than a missed opportunity that could have changed your life. Maybe you're just graduating high school, or are working and need to earn a degree to advance your career. Or you aspire to be a leader, and a graduate degree can make that happen. Whether you're just starting out or retooling for the future, Middle Tennessee State University can help you get there. MTSU, the University of Opportunities.
Welcome back to Academic Spotlight. I'm Andrew Ottman, and we're focusing on University College and the Office of Student Success. We just had Vice Provost Sluter on the program, and now joining us is the manager of the Scholars Academy, one of the most amazing and fantastic outreach efforts that we have in the Office of Student Success. Brelinda Johnson joins us. She's the manager of the Scholars Academy.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great having you on the show. We're students together in a doctoral program, and you know, these days I don't get to see a lot of folks face to face, and it's good to see you. So let's talk about Scholars Academy, because this is, I'm so very proud of what you do. A lot of folks talk about we need to do something to help certain students succeed, and they write a report and it sits on a shelf and nothing really comes of it. But boy, we do something with this. Describe Scholars Academy for us.
Scholars Academy has been around for 15 years, actually this fall.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
Thank you. And it was developed to help students, that first generation underrepresented students, in the transition from high school to college. It started as a bridge program where they came in the summer, they took 2 courses, and they helped them with some academic readiness courses. It then evolved to a 2-week early arrival program. So students come to campus 2 weeks early, typically pre-COVID.
Right, yeah. Let's talk pre-COVID days
Right.
first, okay.
So 2 weeks early, and they go through a series of courses, math prep, reading prep. We also talk to them about the academic resources, what tutoring is, the writing center. We get them prepared and familiar with the campus before everyone else arrives on campus.
And how important that is, because this is, I mean, MTSU is a great place, but it is, if you're brand new to college and you're just leaving a comfort zone, you know, who are these people? What are these buildings? What are you actually break down a lot of that mystery to them.
Absolutely. And we do that with a great set of peer mentors, who is a major component of our program. They're students that have been in their shoes before, and they help to teach them about all the resources, giving them information about student organizations, and sometimes things that we as administrators don't even think about. They're able to relate to them on that level. And they get to also work with them throughout the entire time that they're here. So they have a support system from faculty, staff, to even peer mentors that are supporting them along the way.
That peer mentor program is so great, because I leave your program knowing there's somebody that knows my name, that knows my background, that if I don't understand something, then maybe I'm brave enough to call you, or maybe I'm brave enough to call my academic advisor, but I know I can talk to my friend, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And there are people in their majors, so they're able to talk to them about the trouble that they're having. We're able to help them refer them to other students that maybe have been through similar situations. So it's all about building those relationships. You can't do this thing alone.
That's fantastic. And 2 weeks advance before the start of the semester, I get in my dorm room. If I'm living in the residence halls, I actually move in.
Absolutely.
And I know where the dining halls are. I'm not going to get lost. And I love watching y'all's orientation when they're coming through, because you're pointing everything out.
Absolutely.
So unlike everybody else, when the start of the semester, and they may not know where things are, the Scholars Academy, they're veterans by then.
They know the campus, so they often tell us that other students ask them how to get to places, and they feel great about being able to instruct them of where to go on that first day.
Right.
And also, you know, they also are supported throughout the fall semester. So we do weekly email check-ins with them. We meet with them throughout the semester. We teach them about things related to study skills, helping them along the way. And so it's a really kind of intrusive program where we're helping to coach them throughout that first year.
I know you said intrusive, but we're just going to say we're always curious, right?
Yes, very curious.
So our student success efforts go beyond Scholars Academy. This is a very visible first thing that we do. And I also love when we started about who should consider this our first generation students. MTSU is really proud that we serve a role in that first generation of college students who may be the first in their family to have attended a university and don't have that, hey, background of someone they can talk to about what college is like. You provide that for them with this, right?
Absolutely, yes. Our program does a lot of helping the first generation students. Another piece that I like to bring into play, because my background is in child development and family studies, is we
Right.
also educate the parents. So when we're emailing students, we will also email the parents at times throughout the semester and say, these are things that are going on to help with the whole family as a unit. I like to say it takes more than just the university. It's the student, the university, and the family, all of us coming together to help that student to the end goal, which is graduation.
And I'm going to brag on you here. 15 years, and that's fantastic, but I think those early years, lightly attended, and then something happened.
Absolutely. So earlier, enrollment was about 25 students, and then enrollment continued. As a part of this Quest for Student Success, one was to boost enrollment. And so about 2016 or so, we started to see about 250 students. And then it went up to 100 more to 350 in 2017. And when I got in the position in 2018, we had our largest enrollment of about 444 students that came through the Scholars Program.
That's so incredible. That's
It
so
was
incredible.
great, yeah. And so there was a second program that was created,
STAR.
STAR, yes.
And what does that stand for?
Stands for Student Transition Academic and Readiness
Okay.
Program. And so that program allowed us to be able to have a set number of scholars students of 200 students, and then we have a larger enrollment of STAR students who still get to move in early. And so those students come for a week of a student transition conference. And so at that, we have academic sessions in the morning where we have the president, the provost, our student success leaders on campus talk to them about ways to be successful. And in the afternoon, we have breakout sessions where they get to choose what they want to learn about. If it's a specific area like the Writing Center, or if it's tutoring or the Rec Center, or it may be a specific like College Jones of Business. They may come talk to them about advising. So it exposes them to all the resources that we have on campus.
So how do I find out more about the Scholars Academy and STARS? Where do I go on the web?
All right, we are on mtsu.edu/student success/EAP.
Okay, so if I go to the Student Success page of mtsu.edu, I'll find you.
Absolutely.
I'll find you. Berlinda Johnson, I am so proud of what you do. These programs are fantastic, and thanks for making student success really tangible and possible
Thank
for
you.
so many. And this does wrap up our program, but a couple of reminders. We want to make sure our students and their families are well aware of the guaranteed scholarships offered at MTSU. You will see them listed on your screen right now. If you or a member of your family are looking to come to MTSU, you may qualify for one of these academic scholarships. The deadline to be eligible is coming up soon, so please be sure that you apply and don't miss out. Set yourself up for success at MTSU. I'm Andrew Ottman, and I hope to see you on campus very, very soon.